Some past and present Concordia activists met with students to talk about Concordia's progressive history and to raise concerns about Concordia turning from a place of learning to a business primarily focused on profits.
Said the inspector to the rector, "We have a messer and we must correct it now, now, now. Yes, the students, they are uprising, and we must correct this now, 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 now."
So I'm Sabine Friesinger. I was the president of the Concordia Student Union in 2002-2003. I think students at Concordia in my time, in '69 and even today, always cared about where they go on a day-to-day basis. And what's missing, and maybe is the space, I think, for people to come together and share and discuss and organize. And the notion of being able to share and discuss about issues, regardless of the controversies, should happen. And that corporate interest and private interest behind the university should not be driving the university, but really, students should be.
You have to remember that the 1990s were a turning point for our public services. It was a time of tremendous cutbacks. It was a time where public institutions, public universities were being starved from public funds, and it was all done under the age of neoliberalism. And it was the ideology that basically sought to transfer the control of the economy from the public sector to the private sector. This reality affected us at Concordia. So you had situations where students, because of the cutbacks, classrooms were completely overcrowded, and so some students actually took their classes forced to sit on the floor. And so because of the cutbacks also, university administrators basically turned to the private sector to get the funding, because somehow a university needs to be run, So we were seeing all those changes. We were seeing how the curriculums were in the process of being changed to fit specific needs of the companies that were providing the university, and thereby decreasing the whole notion of universities as a space for critical thinking and to actually serve the public interest. And so in the face of all these changes, a few students came together. It started with a few students and it grew. And the students said, no, we don't have to take this. No longer will we agonize, we will organize. So we ran in the CSU elections and put forward a series of demands that opposed this privatization process and called for a massive reinvestment into the education system. That kind of got the ball rolling. And we demanded that the rector of the university, Frederick Lowy, call for a massive reinvestment in the education system in order to stop this really dangerous privatization process that was happening. We took the streets. We blocked Maisonneuve on several rush hour periods between Mackay and Bishop. We organized demonstrations at the National Assembly in conjunction with other students who were witnessing the same kind of changes on their university or in their cégep.
The aspect of Riot is the aspect that we remember in many years after, but actually I think it was much more than, of course, just the riot that we remember. It was a whole movement of students and that felt that something in their university was wrong and they wanted to do something about it. And so I think I see it much more as an uprising of students than as the riot that we remember in '69 and in 2002. It was a movement of students that said that the university should represent them, and the university should be the image of them, and they should be able to use the space as they see necessary.
We held huge club fairs on the mezzanine, where clubs tabled and shared information about their activities and how they contributed in making Concordia a much richer and diverse experience.
You have to be creative in the actions. So, you know, singing songs in the hallways brings people together all the time. There's nothing confrontational about singing songs and bringing people together around the song. A few years ago, they had tea-ins. You know, students were drinking tea together, just as a moment where they could share things and try to see what they want to change about the university. I think the moment is there for students to do it at any time. It just takes a few students to initiate it, and it can happen. Yeah.
We organized general assemblies and passed strike motions to demand a freeze on the administration fees that Lowy was proposing. It took a lot of work, and it took hours upon hours of flyering, classroom visits, and talking to students, you know, in the corridors, and writing letters to the editors of the student papers, and just being present and talking to people. Whatever it took, we did it. And we got our strike mandate, and then negotiated with the administration and won a 3-year freeze on the administration fee. The freeze saved collectively, you know, saved students $1.3 million, so that was a concrete victory for students. We protested as well the exclusivity deals the university had with the food service provider, and at the time it was Sodexo Marriott. The deals basically said that we couldn't serve any other food in this Marriott zone, so we just refused the deals. We served food, free food on the mezzanine, and this is really where the idea of the people's potato came about. You know, the people's potato was not just created to serve good, free vegan food, but it was there. It was created really to oppose this privatization process and to highlight the barriers to accessibility of education that came with this privatization process.
Students need to realize that this university can be what they want it to be, but they have to organize and take the space.